Good evening. So tonight we'll be learning Aseret hadibrot, dibra number 2, part 2. The pasuk says, "Lo ta'aseh lecha pesel." Do not make for yourself an idol. V'chol temuna, any image. Asher b'shamayim, which is of anything that is in the heavens. Mima'al, above. Ve'al ha'aretz mitachat, anything that is on earth, below. Ve'asher b'mayim mitachat la'aretz, or anything that is in the water, like in the seas, the oceans, under the earth. So here, Hashem is telling us like this. There are many types of avodah zarah. There are many forms and shapes and ways of worshipping avodah zarah. So at first, people started to worship angels. Each nation was aware that there was a guardian angel guarding his nation. Sorry. And people started to worship those angels that were responsible for them. And then from there, people moved on to worshiping the stars, the moon, the sun, the planets, thinking that these stars have powers to help them. After a while, people started to worship demons. This started in Mitzrayim, in Egypt, where people were making witchcraft and black magic, which was very, very powerful. In general, avodah zarah, worshipping idol, started from the time of Enosh. Enosh was the grandson of Adam. Is the third generation. So you have Adam, Shet, and Enosh. After the creation, it's the third generation. People started to worship different gods. Why? Because I said the creator, Hashem, yes, he created the world. But how can he take care and oversee everything that goes on in the world? It's impossible. And can he really take care of the entire world? So they felt that actually they were honoring Hashem by worshiping and serving those idols, since it was beneath the dignity of Hashem to take care of humans, of human beings. Just as Iyov, who lived in the time of Moshe, Iyov actually said it. Iyov said, "Ma enosh ki tegadelenu, v'chi tashit elav libecha." Iyov said, he said to Hashem, "What is man that you should consider him great, tegadlenu, that you should even pay attention to him? Like Hashem, you're so great. What is a human being? It's nothing. Let your angels, let other things take care of human beings." So because of this, and obviously Iyov wasn't the first one to think that way. As I said, it started from the generation of Enosh. People claim that Hashem decided to direct the world through the stars. That's what people said. He's like a king who appoints ministers, and he has like a cabinet, and he tells them, okay, you take care of this, and you take care of that, you take care of that. And each minister takes care of a section of the government. But obviously, it is wrong, right? But David HaMelech, on the other hand, David HaMelech said, Hashem oversees. He takes care of each thing in the universe individually. David HaMelech actually said very clearly, Hashem takes care not only of people, not only of Jews, the Gemara tells us that over every blade, Hashem puts every blade of grass that grows. Hashem puts a malach and tells the malach, now make the grass grow, make this flower grow. And Hashem gives the power to the malach, to the angel, to do it. Nothing happens without Hashem willing it. But people believe that, for example, people also believed that if there was a child that was born with something unusual, let's say he had 6 fingers in a hand, or something, deformity, or that he was very talented and very smart, people thought, oh, this child must be a god. That's why he's so different from the rest of us. And actually, as strange as it may seem, but maybe between 10 to 15 years ago, there was a child that was born in India, a baby girl, but she was born with 3 legs. Obviously, that was a deformity, something was wrong. And what did people do in India? Right away, today, we're talking about 15 years ago, maximum. What happened? People said, oh, she has 3 legs, she must be a god. And they really worshipped her. They were bringing her gifts. A baby. How can you call her a god? But that's what they did. Okay? So when Hashem gave the Torah, Hashem reminded us and he told us, I am Hashem, your God, who brought you out of Mitzrayim. Remember, I took you out of Egypt, of Mitzrayim, from the house of slaves. And he was saying, it is I who brought you out of Mitzrayim through my own powers. If I had placed the carrying of the world into the hands of the stars, you would still be stuck in Mitzrayim. You would still be stuck in Egypt. According to your stars, Egypt, Mitzrayim, is still a house of slaves for you. But I watched over you and brought you out of Egypt, out of Mitzrayim, despite what the stars are predicting for you. That's why Chachamim tell us, Yisrael lemala min hamazal, that we are above the stars. We don't believe what the stars tell us. And people tell you, oh, drink coffee and I'm going to do play with cards and I'm going to tell you what your future. We're not allowed to believe in any of these things. None of them. Or in the newspaper, you're going to read the horoscope. And today is your very lucky day. This is what's going to happen. Oh, be careful with it. No. But if we believe in it, then yes, we are going to be under the influence of the stars. But if we don't believe in the stars, and we believe that Hashem is the one who takes care of every single thing in the world, that whatever happens to me, whether it's good or bad, Chas v'shalom, is because Hashem wanted it to happen. And Hashem will help me get through, or will bless me, or whatever it is. But if I believe in the stars, then I am going to be under the stars. Hashem says, okay, you want to believe the stars? Fine, no problem. Be under the stars. Be under the influence of the stars. So therefore, I warn you, Hashem says, do not have any other gods before me. Do not worship any angels in my presence. In my presence, it means as long as long as I am alive. And we know Hashem is Hay v'kayam la'ad. Hashem is alive forever. So it means forever and ever. We may not serve angels. Lo yiyeh lecha Elohim acherim al panai. You may not have any other God um, um, before me, except for me. You saw me when I took you out of Mitzrayim, out of Egypt. It was me, it was not the angels. I therefore command you not to have any other God other than myself. Hashem said, do not make a carved statue or any form or shape of anything that is in the heaven or on the earth or in the water. No image of angels, birds, animals, stars, beasts, fish, anything. You may not make an image of it and worship it. And then it says, Chachamim explain that, let's say someone was saved from an animal. So to remember this miracle that happened to this person made a carving or an image of that animal for him to remember, oh, Hashem saved me from this animal. We're not allowed to do that. And for that, I want to tell you a story. This story happened about three years ago. And were they three? Not even 3 years. Not even 3 years. It happened in California. So when the restrictions for COVID were already more lax, people started to travel. So there's a woman who lives in Santa Barbara, and very often she used to take her boat and go to watch the whales, watch the dolphins. And one of her very, very good friends was coming to visit her. She said, I've been locked in for so long because of COVID. I want to go out. I'm coming to visit you. She was very happy. She was going to spend a few days with her. And she was really very happy about this. And a couple of days after she came, she told her, I'm going to take you on my boat and we're going to watch the whales. Is it safe? Of course it is safe. I've been there so many times, hundreds of times, and it's very safe. Okay, so they put on their life jackets, they got onto the boat, they were rowing, and they were talking, being very relaxed, and sure enough, they could see the dolphins, and they even saw whales. Wow, that was amazing. And they weren't the only boats. There were a few boats. But then suddenly, one whale came up so suddenly, jumped up, and then down onto their boat, that these two women, they were already in their late 60s, those two women flew up in the air so far. Everyone just screamed. Everyone saw what was going on. The whale had its mouth open, huge, big. And they actually landed in the mouth of the whale. They were very lucky. The whale has a big mouth, but a narrow throat. The whale could not swallow them. At the end, the whale spit them out. But they knew exactly what had happened. They were so shaken. People all around them just came to help them. They went back home, but they were so shaken. So can you imagine these women? They would carve an image of a whale, or even buy a statue of a whale, and have it standing on the sideboard. And every time they would show this to anyone, you see what happened? God saved me from the whale. I was almost swollen by swallowed by the whale. Can you imagine? Hashem says no. Even to remember a miracle, you cannot do that. So in this commandment is also included the commandment of not making up our own Torah. Like, if we look at the Reform, if we look at the conservatives or the liberals, they have really changed many things in the Torah. They've changed it so that it should be according to their needs. Lo yeh lecha Elohim acherim. We may not do that. We can't. We may not change anything in the Torah. We may not explain the Torah in a way that is not from the Masoret, in a way that we were not taught from a rabbi that we know received his Masoret from his previous rabbi, from his previous, and on and on and on. A person must be very careful not to explain the pasuk in the Torah in his own way. And here, there are some mitzvot. Here we learn something, a concept that there are some mitzvot in the Torah that if we do not do these mitzvot, the Gemara says it is as if a person is doing avodah zarah. It's like doing avodah zarah. One of them is hafrashat challah. If a person does not do hafrashat challah, I'm making a dough, and let's say I'm using 5 pounds or 6 pounds of flour, and I'm making a dough. It came out beautiful, but I don't care about the mitzvah of challah, of taking a piece and burning it, and then putting it in the garbage, wrapping it up, and then putting it in the garbage. Chachamim tell us this is someone who just doesn't care to do this mitzvah. It is as if this person has done the avera of avodah zarah. Why? Why do we take the challah? In the times of the Bet HaMikdash, people used to give to the Kohen, any Kohen. They would give a piece of the dough and say, here, this is for you. It's a gift for you. The same is with Maaser, 10%. 10% of our animals, 10% of our money, 10% of the fruit that grows in Eretz Israel. It used to be given to the Kohen. Why? Because the Kohen could not work. Kohen had to offer the korbanot, the sacrifices. There was so much work the Kohen had to do for us because he is our representative to Hashem. Because of that, he couldn't really have a regular job. So Hashem says, we have to provide him with food. So they would be giving him 10% from the vegetables, from the fruit, from the wheat, from the when they would cut the wool off the sheep. They would give the Kohen also from the korbanot, from the sacrifices. They would give to the Kohen. And now, here it says that a person who does not do hafrashat challah, does not remove that piece of dough to give it to the Kohen. Nowadays, we cannot give it to the Kohen, so we burn it. It is, that person is like doing avodah zarah. And that is not the only one. There are a few mitzvot like this. Another one is that someone who gets so angry that has no control over his temper, no control at all. We are told that person is like a person who's doing avodah zarah. We may not even look at that person in the face, because his face is all distorted from the anger. a person who refrains from giving tzedakah. Someone came and asked for tzedakah, and someone says, "No, I don't want to give you." No reason, just don't want to give. Such a person also is like doing avodah zarah. Why? Because if you remember, every time we make a mitzvah, we are actually doing a tikkun. We are fixing the world. And so here, instead of fixing the world, we are actually doing damage. We're doing damage to the world. And that's not what we are here for. And it's the same as also for someone who does not keep Shabbat. Now, for that, I need to explain. We're talking about someone who knows, has learned the halachot, knows what they are doing, but they just don't care. We're not talking about people who never learned. Oh, they know a little bit, but they're not really sure to do this, to do that. So such people also, such a person is like doing avodah zarah. Someone who has lots of pride, because someone who has lots of pride has no room for anyone else. Hashem says, someone who has so much pride, him and me, Hashem says, and I, we cannot be in the same place. But Hashem is all over the world. Exactly. There's no room. That person has such pride that he has no room for no one else, not even for Hashem. So, in the zechut of this learning, may Hashem bless us all. And may He protect us all and guide us. And He bless us again with bracha, hatzlacha, shalom, bריאות, parnasa, nachat, simcha, and zivugim.